Today we'll be diving into the life story of Saint Nicholas. The reason why I'm doing this is because people think Santa Claus derived from paganism, but he actually derives from a historical Orthodox and Catholic bishop. Saint Nicholas was born in 270 AD in Patria, Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey. His parents were very wealthy but devout Christians. From a young age, Nicholas devoted his life to God. He was known for his prayer, his fasting, even as a young child. But while he was still young, his parents died from a very serious plague, which he inherited all his parents' money. But instead of using it for himself, he spent his entire life giving it away to the poor. Nicholas later in the years embraced the monastic life, becoming an Orthodox monk. His piety was so strong that he was appointed as the Bishop of Myra while he was still so young. As a bishop, Nicholas became known for his strict defense of the Orthodox faith, his care for the poor, his dedication to justice, and his miraculous works among the people. One of the most famous stories of Saint Nicholas was there was a man with 3 daughters who couldn't afford dowries. Without money, these girls faced being into slavery. Nicholas heard this quietly, and at night he secretly dropped bags of gold through the man's window, and he saved all 3 daughters from slavery. There's also a story of Saint Nicholas even after he passed away, where sailors were caught in a deadly storm and prayed to God and asked Saint Nicholas for intercessions for help. He appeared to them in a vision and calmed the seas and guided them to safety. He famously attended the First Ecumenical Council of Nicaea, where the church declared that Christ is truly God. When the heretic Arius denied Christ was divine, Nicholas was overwhelmed with zeal and struck him with righteous anger. Historically, we do not know the reliability of this, but it shows the Holy Father's fiery defense of the Orthodox faith. Overall, St. Nicholas was known for his miracles and his generosity to the poor. On December 6, 343 AD, St. Nicholas passed away, but his miracles did not stop, which shows that his holiness didn't end at his death, but God continues to work miracles through him even in today's society. Every December 6, Orthodox and Catholic Christians honor him with hymns about his miracles, icons of him blessing the people, services to remember his charity and faith and courage. In the Orthodox homes, his icons are everywhere because he is seen as a living intercessor who helps us even today. Now let's get to the most unfortunate part. See, the Orthodox Church maintains St. Nicholas's true identity, but later his identity changed. We start where most problems started, the Protestant Reformation. In the 1500s, most of Northern Europe abandoned the veneration of saints. No icons, no feast days, no intercessions, no celebration of the holy saints like St. Nicholas. But people still wanted a winter gift-giving tradition, so they replaced him with Sinterklaas, Kris Kringle, and Father Christmas, which are different names of Santa Claus. Sinterklaas is the Dutch translation of St. Nicholas, which how the Americans pronounced as Santa Claus, and Kris Kringle comes from the German Christ child in English. And then Father Christmas is an Old English Christmas figure, which eventually obviously merged with Santa Claus. These three names would eventually come together, forming Santa Claus. So the Protestant reformers like Martin Luther, John Calvin, etc. supported this idea to replace St. Nicholas. Meanwhile, Orthodoxy keeps the real St. Nicholas as the holy miracle-working bishop of Myra. In the 1800s, writers and artists and advertisers and newspapers reshaped him. Washington Irving turned St. Nicholas into a jolly Dutch man who flies over rooftops. Clement Moore wrote a poem where he added Santa Claus having reindeers, having a sleigh, coming down chimneys, the round belly, Christmas Eve gift delivering. Basically 90% of our modern Santa traits comes from really this poem. And Thomas Nast in the 1860s to 1890s, he was the first to draw Santa in the North Pole. So this was like the final step to removing St. Nicholas from the Christian identity, turning him into a secular cartoon mascot. Coca-Cola in 1931 popularized the modern final look, the modern Santa Claus, his final look, with a big beard, round stomach, red suit with white fur, and a soft, friendly look. The modern Santa is a cultural innovation which stems away from the true Christian tradition. So the real Santa Claus is a devout Orthodox bishop who devoted his life to Christ. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the one true God, and peace.
Κανόνα πίστεως και εικόνα πραότητος, εγκρατείας διδάσκαλων